Hey there. I hope everyone's doing well. I'd like to take a minute to talk about this book that Dave Arnold gifted me that was part of Stefan Schober's Swiss Army knife collection that Dave acquired. Turns out this book is really quite rare and was given to members of the Swiss Knife Makers Association in 1991 on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the Swiss soldier knife. So, the very first Swiss soldier's knife was the model 1890 that you see here, but it didn't actually come out until 1891. So the 100th anniversary was in 1991. This book was presented to those members along with a very special limited edition knife, which I'd like to talk about first. And we're not really sure where the knife is. It was not among the knives that Dave acquired. So we're not sure where that knife is, whether Stefan had maybe disposed of that sometime in the past, or maybe someone else bought it from his estate. We're not really sure. But the knife was limited to 100 pieces, very rare. It was a Victorinox 1961 model Swiss soldier's knife. Like after 1964, the norm on the Swiss soldier's knife was just silver, although Victorinox did produce red ones occasionally on and off until 1978. But it was red like this. It was date stamped 91. These are date stamped on the back, the soldier's knife, this one being a 64, but it was date stamped 91. What I'll do is I'll put some pictures of the actual knife on the screen here, maybe picture in a picture. And these pictures will be from one of Stefan's blogs about this knife in this book. So I'll put a link to that in the description box below, so you can go there and see that blog as well. I believe it's in German, but it can be translated to English if you're an English speaker. Other special features about the 100th anniversary limited edition knife. There was a blade etch about commemorating the 100-year anniversary, and you see that also on the special box that it came in. It was serialized on the screwdriver. I don't recall, you'll see in the pictures, but either on the front or the back of the screwdriver, it would show the number out of 100 that you had. And then the Waffen control was interesting. So they used this Swiss cross that you see here that was used from 1962 to 1977 on Swiss soldier knives. But the Waffen control was not this type 2 control mark. It was the third one that you see later from 1977 to 1988. The kind that you see in these little squares here on later ones, with the W, with the K and the plus inside of it, or the cross. So they actually had that stamped inside of this Swiss cross you see here at the top of the knife. So very cool. I think those were pretty much all the special features about the knife. Again, super rare, only 100 of those. Stefan's is out there somewhere. Okay, let's talk about the book. Now, I'm not sure how many copies of this book were produced, but there were only 100 knives produced. This book, again, on the 100th anniversary of the Swiss soldier knife, was presented to members of the Swiss Knife Makers Association. And the book is all in German. So unfortunately for me, I don't speak or read German. I've had to use a translating app on my phone where I take an image and try to translate it. That works pretty well. The print is fairly clean and large, like here on this front page. This front page is basically thanks a lot of people that helped put this effort together in 1991. The rest of it gets a little more challenging because the rest of the book is original documentation pertaining to the development and production of Swiss soldier knives. And so, a lot of it is very, faint type. It might be also signatures and handwriting and corrections and things like that. But it's pretty interesting. I've been able to translate a couple of pages. A lot of it kind of comes out as gobbledygook. Of course, I'm at a loss for the cursive. But what I'm not at a loss for is there, in addition to the documentation about the development and production of these knives, there are the blueprints and the specifications for the model 1890, 1908, 1951, both fiber and grill-on, and the 1961 models. So just to kind of give you a look through the book here, we'll flip real quick. And you can see there's probably no other book like this out there where they went and they got original source material on the Swiss soldiers' knives and put it all in one place. And there's a little article here on the back. I think I will be able to translate that a little better, along with some photographs of the different variants of the Swiss soldier's knife. And here's another little article on the 100th anniversary of the Swiss soldier. So that's a very unique, rare, and I'm sure hard to obtain book. So thank you, Stefan, and thank you, Dave. And while we're on the subject of books about Swiss knives, I want to tell you about a book that Dave Arnold has been working on now for a couple of years. And Dave has not asked me to promote this book in any way. As a matter of fact, when I recently asked him, Dave, can I start talking about your book? He was kind of like, well, okay, because I don't think he thinks it's going to be a big deal. But you know, the world of collecting vintage Swiss knives is pretty sleepy. And I think this book is going to be really important. And, you know, if you're not familiar with Dave Arnold's collection, go watch a couple videos I made when I traveled to Toronto, filmed his collection, and interviewed him a few years ago. And I got to tell you, it's impressive. It was impressive back then, but his collection has probably more than doubled since I went up there. And it's grown on the side of very old and very rare Wenger knives. So Dave's collection now is so broad and so deep that he can show you, I don't know, the progression of just about any model, whether it's 9 centimeter, 8 centimeter, 3-layer, 4-layer, gentleman's knife, you know, cadet, work knife. He can show you the progression of the tools, the tang stamps, the shields. It's just amazing. So he's working on this book that will be fully illustrated from knives from his own collection. And he's probably the only person on the planet that I know could do this because of his collection. So yeah, this book is going to be really quite something, I think. It will be available, Dave says, I think on Amazon. He has some experience self-publishing on Amazon. So it will be available both electronic form and also, you know, for a little more money, a hard copy, print form, for people that want to have that. And you know, as he gets closer, certainly we'll tell you about it. When the book is actually for sale, I'll certainly tell you about it. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and have fun collecting.